Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning. It is the 15th, the Payday Friday here. So, what do we got going on for Friday? Well, let's take a quick saunter over to CNBC here. Oh, hold on. I need to refresh the page. Yes. Stock futures rise after Kudlow signals U.S.-China trade deal getting close. Now remember, well, wait, probably you might not remember because this was, they're not even showing it. But supposedly, they are having a call today. And the U.S. and Chinese trade representatives are going to work things out. And the United States representatives are miraculously going to convince the Chinese to agree to absolutely everything, and then everything will be fine. Yeah, right. Listen, if the trade deal was going bad, Larry Kudlow would be the last person to know. Let me tell you what. Am I right? You know I'm right. Lucas, you need to add footage of you sweating profusely. You know what? I like that. If we could maybe do something like that. What is the direct link to the live stream so that I can bookmark it? That's a good question. Where did it go? Hold on a second. Come over here to the live dashboard. It's just like Speculator Seth /live, but let me double check here and get it for you guys. Yep, it's -C. But here, I give it to you. That's the one that you can bookmark. I apologize. So I'm supposed to, like, when I leave work at 4 o'clock, create the new stream, and that way it'll show you. I found that it works better when I do it like late in the afternoon, because then when you're all browsing at night, it reminds you, oh, Seth streams every day, and then when you wake up, it should be there. And you can just click on that and wait. But yeah, I forgot about it. I could put it in the about. That's maybe not a bad idea. Let's do that. What needs to happen is the YouTube just needs to make streaming pages for everybody, like they have on Twitch. I think that would make things a little bit easier for people. Anyways, to the charts. So, here in the E-mini, pretty significant move to new highs. That, in fact, is too much. Normally, when we have an overnight move like that, I would be thinking, oh, maybe they're going to go. But here, just in the past little while, we've had a good little move up. It's hard to know if this is going to continue, but here in the ZN, okay, they came back a bit, but they're basically to where we were before the move up started yesterday. Right here, this distribution. Here we're getting a distribution. And look, they're moving up. They might move up. I think this has the writing of an exhaustion gap in it. You know what I mean? Man, I hate rollover day. I thought I had a good chance in CL and lost 6. Oh, is this rollover in oil happens now? I did not know. Guys. Wow. And I'm wondering in here, and does the volume tell us anything important? Not a whole lot, except for that there was a lot more action at 04 half than there was where we are now. So yeah, I'm a little weary because it's Friday. We've had a big run up, and they're starting at new highs, and I feel that the piece of news that they're moving up on is nonsense. Not, well, what's the proper way to say this, guys? Not like nonsense, but like, I don't think that you go out and buy everything because Larry Kudlow says we're getting close to a deal. Like, how many times has he said that? This is not the first time that he has said that, folks. Good morning, Wrong. How are you?
Wrong ZH says morning.
There we go. Look at that. 3666K at 05 half. Absorbed on the offer. They go bid 1200. Easy. They might have a good strong trend. How do we read this? Okay. So that is the opening range low. So they're going to push into it hard, aren't they? But this might be where if we're wrong and everything's fine and it all works out, this is where we would get a really good short potentially. So I think it would be better for me to kind of sit and wait and see what happens. I always think on this thing when we're buying the opening range, it's like, okay, what would Uzi do? I'm not entirely sure in this situation. Not entirely sure. Rollovers.
Wrong ZH says rollover give me anxiety lol.
Yeah, when we get the rollover, I just stay away from it. I think Uzi would wait for the news in 3 minutes. Oh, yes. What do we got? We got core retail sales and retail sales. We're looking for a reading in the core retail sales of spot 3, and core retail sales is total value of sales at the retail level, excluding automobiles, and then retail sales, we're looking for spot 1 with the previous of negative spot 3. Okay. Thank you. I totally forgot that it was retail sales today. That would be important. That would be important information, guys. By the way, which reminds me, have you guys seen? Oh my gosh, it's every morning. Every morning now, it's like, did you guys see the latest thing on Wall Street bets? These guys are starting to get a little crazy. Like, I've seen some really dumb bets. Okay, but this guy, let me pull up the link here. I've been saving the links for you guys. Okay. Continue. Thank you. Okay, here's the screenshot that this guy posted on Wall Street Bets. Okay. Who bought 1,700 22nd of November puts on Amazon for $3.30 a share. Okay. So basically like $100,000 in Amazon puts. Absolutely ridiculous. He's already down on it quite a bit. Book cost $103,000. Can you believe? Is he already in and out? So you bought it and you're already done, huh? Interesting. He's been trading a little bit differently though lately, hasn't he? But yeah, it's related to this retail sales because I mean, if retail sales ends up being really good, maybe Amazon goes up a little bit. But I actually kind of like his play. I just really don't like the way that he's doing it. I mean, obviously, you don't buy $100,000 worth of it. But also he's like, his strike is 1,700 strike. Okay. Amazon is like at 1,755 right now. Okay. When he posted this screenshot. So it has to drop 50 points, which would bring it back to summer levels. And it's got to do that. Okay. In the next week. That seems unlikely. All right, here we go. Here's the news. See if I can get that. Twitter has been slow lately. Twitter has been very slow. Okay. Retail sales for October, spot 3 versus spot 2 estimate, so a little better than expected. Oh, no. They're getting it. That's wrong. Okay. It was core retail sales was spot 2 versus spot 3, and retail sales was spot 3 versus spot 1. So they sold more automobiles than expected, but overall, retail was not quite as good as expected. It's kind of a little bit of a mix. A little bit of a mix, but the core retail sales being less than expected, that's not good. That is nice.
Jake says, but he is rich.
Yeah, that guy must have a ton of money to be willing to put $100,000 on inputs on Amazon. I mean, that's just crazy. You watch. It'll be like, I mean, I think that this trade deal thing has a good chance of falling apart. Can you imagine? Okay. Trade deal with China. Going, just like that deal completely falling apart in the middle of holiday shopping. That would be a disaster. That would be an absolute disaster. And hey, Amazon would maybe be one of the names that would get hit really, really hard. So I don't think that his play is bad, but he's probably getting into it a little bit too early. Like, why would you get into it on a Thursday? No, like get in on Monday because there's going to be all of this. It's not like they're going to move down overnight over the weekend. I mean, maybe they will, but so he's buying at the wrong time and he's getting the wrong strike price. You could do it with like a spread and it would be way better. You're boxing yourself only into 1 hour of trading?
Uzi Knesset says, I'm still testing this approach and I'm doing it lightweight style, so only one contract, but I'm boxing myself into only 1 hour of trading. Lucas says at UZI, why is that? Are you in a hurry?
Yeah, that's interesting, Uzi. I mean, I've been paying attention to what you've been doing, and it makes sense to me. But it seems to me to be like something that's been going on in this environment in particular, where like in the first little bit, there's like a move that's pretty much in line with what was happening in the overnight, and then we do get a continuation, but it's like much later. And that does seem to be working really well, but I'm concerned that that has more to do with the particular like setup, like the participants in the market right now and all of that sort of stuff. It's a lot of Europeans are in there right now and stuff like that.
Uzi Knesset says, not in a hurry. I'm just learning slowly that there's phases to the day. People enter, position themselves, right? Then spend the rest of the day leaving their positions while latecomers are.
Right.
Uzi Knesset says, getting their butts kicked trying to position themselves in larger players' exits.
Yeah. I think that a lot of that happens. But if we go back into a risk-on environment, a risk-off environment, that's going to change out a lot, right? Because then you're going to get this situation where just tons of money is coming in and you're going to see huge rushes into the treasuries around the 7:30, 8 o'clock time period. And but
Lucas
you're right.
Says, so are you position trading within the day?
Like if you think about it, a lot of the volume does appear to be coming from Europeans, right? And part of that is because the Brexit thing is...
Uzi Knesset says it's the same way going back as far as I can see in the data. You only need that first hour before the equities open for 4 to 8 ticks.
Well, okay, sure. If you're only looking for 4 to 8 ticks, you usually could get a swing in there, for sure. But the thing is, okay, so there's the news, right? Like the way that I think of it, the timing of it is there's
Wrong
the European
ZH says, I think there is an advantage at opening, but it could get tricky.
There's the European session,
Uzi Knesset says now whether you hold on for the trend for the day.
That's a different story. Yeah.
That's a different story. You can do that by all means, lol.
Right. So you get the Europeans get in, and then we have the news. And if you don't have news, then you have this wait
Jake
period
says from
until
now on I
E-mini
only
opens.
trade oil.
Okay. I think that it's good to specialize in an instrument. Anyways, and then you get the E-mini open, and then they determine a trend. And once they've determined a trend in the E-mini, they kind of do their thing, and then you get the European session close, right? So at that point, that's when like this whole like 8:30 to 9:30 time period, you can get good moves in there, but those moves are people exiting because the European session close is going to come, right? And then after that, it's lunch and there's like nothing in there, right? So yeah, you're playing an action where a lot of people are closing positions, but that early session right now seems to
Harlequin
be
says
really
can't recommend it
good.
today, lol. Should have just stayed out until us comes to play. Stupid rollover.
Mm,
Uzi Knesset says I bought the very first tick of the 820 candle. I did
really?
wanna get out before the news, so I shot for +4 and got it just before the release.
So you literally bought. Wait, did they get? Oh, yeah, I guess they did. You literally bought right here. I was a little late today, so while I was yapping, he bought and got up to there. See, I just avoid that because it's hard for me to tell what the real trend for the session is there. But I'm seeing something else here today, and that is there. It does appear to be some risk on, and there does
Uzi
appear to be some
Knesset
selling
says I
in the
bought
Treasury.
06 and got out at 10 in ZB.
I don't know if I can read too much into this or not, but look, I mean, there's nobody buying up into this. See if they can first hold 06 half and then pivot reaction. I don't know. They came back really quickly. Did we get more volume up there at the top than what I'm seeing? No, they did not. So the retail, well, I don't even say retail, but the short-term traders all bought on the retail sales being good, and then they all sold, and we didn't get other players coming into it based off of that, so it retraced. Suppose
Lucas says liquidity is weirdly low still.
I mean, they're 2000s.
Uzi Knesset says did the same yesterday and got +8 on the candle. I'm gonna keep testing it and I can keep my risk relatively low between 2 to 4 ticks.
Yeah, I would like to see what the stats are on that on the opening drive of the regular session based on where they open at. I would guess that there's probably a statistical edge in it. I'm just questioning.
Lucas says we were 25k plus in total bids, asks pre-numbers.
That's a good point too. I mean, look at this. We bought up, right? Sold.
Lucas says and it's moving on lightweight.
It looks like a potential. Whoa, well, in fact, they might be giving me one here. But why would they be giving me one on that side?
Uzi Knesset says I just started so I don't have stats on it yet, but I did set a volumetric template that only shows that specific candle.
How do you, but what is the basis for the direction you take? Is it not based on the excuse me. Is it not based on the extended session opening range? Alligator, yes. In my opinion, set up to retest last peak.
Wrong ZH says there is but it's zero sum after losing streak.
Okay. Almost lost my water bottle there.
Uzi Knesset says that's one thing I'm still working on. I almost went into selling it, but I was kinda crunch timing it and saw the delta was positive, yesterday's US session positive. Uzi Knesset says still within overnight value, so I went with a buy.
Okay, that makes sense. Sure. Yeah. See, my problem is that I often have a very difficult time knowing which way it's going to go at that time of day, and I usually am like, well, I don't want to get into something before the news comes, and so I wait for the news. And then lately, the news has been moving more than I'm willing to risk, so I've kind of just been watching those, and then you get like what we had here, right? They took a trade, came back. So like, is there really a trade now? Because you're not getting, it didn't appear to really significantly change the overall market's view of things. So now we might just make a market
Lucas
here
says slight
until
pull again. Why is behaving like this, lol?
it is weird, right? It looks to me like they're trying to force it up. Like they want people to buy up into it so that they can go short. And there's nobody wants to take the risk for some reason. Which doesn't,
Claudio Ibarola says, what do you think about Trading Technologies TT platform?
you know what, Claudio? I've never tried it personally. Their reputation is unmatched. That's for sure.
Lucas says we do have numbers at 9:15.
Oh, we do. Okay. If you go into the Discord,
Uzi Knesset says I have noticed that this hour will set the pace for the rest of the day depending on the profile structure.
like a point to it, Uzi.
Michael XC says it's great, MBO data.
Yeah, if you go into the Discord and you go to the platform and brokers channel and you start trading about or talking about TT's platform, Patrick Rooney will probably show up. He usually does when people start talking about TT, and he's the like the social media outreach guy for TT. So you're getting the best guy to talk about it there if you go into the Discord. Wrong. I really want to try all brokers and platforms. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I would like, well, I don't know if I can do every platform, but I can certainly do demos. I did the stage 5 demo. Maybe I should have taken it more seriously. Like I should have just only used that platform for a week or something. I think that's something that we could do. But I definitely need to try TT's platform.
Lucas says at UZI, do you trade this FISRT hour and then leave, or you stay for possible good setups afterwards?
See, the thing is I remember, it wasn't this time of, when was it? Was it earlier in the year? Yeah, it was early in the year. Remember back when my office flooded? And I was working from home for like 3 months or whatever. And we got some really, really good trades in that 8:30 to 9:30 hour. Uzi says, I'll hang out with you guys though and give me tips. There's definitely something fishy up here. And look, you see this bar right here in the 5-year? Like they were pushing it up. But then it only went up one tick. He's pushing it. It can show the number of orders at each price. TT does. That's cool. I don't know if, because I can do that sort of stuff too. Actually, I mean, I can't come in here immediately and then say, okay, of that 500.
Uzi Knesset says it's a work in progress, so I don't want to give the impression that I've figured some trick out. It's still the same trading, just limited to a certain time. Lucas says at UZI, don't you feel pressure to place trades with this approach?
But here's the thing, like think about Ace's, how Ace does it, right? He comes in at the top of the hour and he takes a timed trade essentially. Taking advantage of the ebb and flow of the market makes a lot of sense. And if you know who are the players that are coming in at that time, and therefore you have a good probability of being able to predict where it's going to go in that time frame, I say go for it. Totally makes sense. But he doesn't have a stat for it, so that's interesting, because that's where I'm saying, like, it's been working really, really well, but there are things about this market that I would expect for it to work really, really well, right?
Michael XC says I suck at ZF.
And you know what, ZF is, it can be really hard to tell where it's going to stop.
Uzi Knesset says it's only been 2 days, so nothing special lol. Wrong ZH says not really, not want to give bad impression, but that was what I was think back then. IQ says be a buyer in ZB today.
You sound awfully confident about that, IQ. I mean, the thing is some of my more daily edges, it's hard to say where it's going to be. I do have that there was some big action way back here at 050. I think we should be cognizant of that. I do think that the pressure is to the upside. I mean, we had that news, but the thing that I'm seeing right now is that they're spiking it. You see all of this orders? So basically, it didn't tick up. Now, it's nice to be able to see it like this too, okay? So here it was on a time basis. So on a minute-by-minute basis, it was not that unusual. But on a tick basis, it was a decent amount, which means that it ticked there, and people continued to place orders and fiddle with the inside bid and offer until it ticked up. And when I see that to me means that the market maker is trying to work it to push it up. Okay. But when you see that, it's very often that we go a few ticks further and then flip around. Now, I didn't see an iceberg. The volume is really light. There is an iceberg at 19 and a quarter in the 5-year. Okay. That one is interesting. So anyways, when I get that sort of a thing, though, that's often the wrong way, which is to mean that we'll come and pull back and then we'll go higher.
Gary Rich says at Michael, okay. I'm considering to switch over to XTrader, Spread Trader, and eventually their algo trader platform.
Well, we could definitely try it. I don't know if now is the best time to try all that sort of stuff, though. I want to save up a little bit to get put some money into Optimus futures, and just have a small account with them, because I haven't been able to use them, but I really, really enjoy talking to Matt Z. I wrote those articles for him, right? And he kind of understands. He has kind of some of the same goals that we do. Like, he understands that there's not it's hard to find a good community for retail traders and things like that, and they're kind of helping with that. And I appreciate that, because most brokers, it's like you never talk to them, and his position is that he should be there to help you, and he wants to help you be successful. Like, that's his business plan, is like, I can't beat them necessarily all the time on commissions, although if you're trading volume, he can definitely bring it down. But for small traders, it's not going to be as good of commissions, but he's going to keep more people and make more money in the long run, because more of his traders are successful because he helps them become successful. And so I think that he's done enough to show us that we could open up an account over there. And then I can have 2 accounts. That I think would definitely be useful. And then we're probably going to be running into like the beginning of the year, which is like go time for me, right? But maybe in the summer or something, maybe we could start exploring a bunch of the different platforms and stuff. And I'm still doing stuff with Sierra. Okay, so now it's moving, right? I could definitely do stuff with Sierra. I'm going to program that. Okay, that was a relatively significant pushback there. Like if I had been able to be wrong, your number is next, Seth. That's 6 ticks, yeah. I don't know if I saw enough. That one's just not really my spot, is it? Because I said they were pushing it up, but that's often where they turn around, you know? But they didn't turn around. They pushed it all the way up. But now it's like a new high. What happened to using NinjaTrader? Well, so let me back up. I think you misunderstood, Gary. So I really like NinjaTrader, and I think I'm going to continue to use it. But so many of you guys are using Sierra charts. And I would really like to help contribute to you guys that are using Sierra charts. Like this thing that I got going here, down at the bottom, my histograms, those are really useful, right? And I would like you guys to be able to have them. But the problem with that, with making it available to you guys, I mean, it's worth something, and I would want to get my value back. But then you have to do all this stuff with like selling it and supporting it and updating it. You know, it's just a real big pain. And to me, my primary goal is to build the community and to get better at trading. And I feel like that selling software would be too big of a distraction from that, right? Like I'd always be trying to sell it and, you know, work on that and focused on that. And then you kind of have to be, you know, then there's conflicts of interest involved and things like that. So what I would rather do is give it to somebody else and make a deal with them and say, you know, you give me a percentage of every sell that you make and stuff like that. But I have it for NinjaTrader, but so many of you guys have it use Sierra charts. I'd like to make it in Sierra charts too. So my plan is here in the next 2 months over the holidays, because I'm going to have a lot of free time because I never take days off. So on those days off, I want to program those for Sierra charts. Sierra charts is an investment in time instead of money. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
Uzi Knesset says at Lucas, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I like it so far. Pulling $250 in 20 minutes yesterday was sexy as fuck, lol.
Yeah, that was a good trade, dude. It's kind of funny. I remember when I was trading in ZB and I always thought, oh, you know, 8 ticks is great. And I would always have a hard time getting it, even though the ZB easily moves 8 ticks all the time. Maybe if I tried it again, I would be better at finding the spots.
Lucas says at UZI, I know, right? Like that's the dream all education trading folks will sell to people.
Totally. So this is interesting. If I had taken the long there.
Gary Rich says, Seth, are you trying or thinking of selling indicators?
Well, yeah, so that's where I'm saying I want to make the indicator and I want to give it to somebody else to sell it. That's kind of my thinking right now.
Uzi Knesset says 8 ticks is normal for ZB, but like it seems to get exponentially harder to get the longer you wait.
Okay, there's another down tick. See, if I had taken the long here at 04, half 05, when it came up and then they...
Gary Rich says, I highly recommend don't do it.
You know, the 07 half, and it was 1400 stacked on it, but it was the first time through that whole thing that somebody was willing to sell. That's usually a profit taking signal. And now look, on the way down, they're stacking actually quite heavily. I highly recommend don't do it. Well, yeah, like that's the whole thing is I don't want to. I mean, I want to make it available to you, and I did have some time investment in it. And I want my time investment back, but I don't want to be an indicator salesman for a living. Basically,
Gary Rich says I
want to trade. I want to trade. Trading is, and I feel like that would be a huge distraction from trading, you know? Former Ukraine ambassador to testify about concerted campaign to oust her. You know what? This is really odd to me with the impeachment proceedings. If I could take a moment, it does matter. We got to understand the politics, right? But it's really weird to me what they're doing in the impeachment hearings, because if I was a Democrat, I would be trying to show that there was a quid pro quo, and I would be trying to show what Donald Trump's motivations were, and this and that. But when you look at the testimonies that you have right now, it's basically like deep state actors upset that policy didn't go the way that they wanted it to. So to get up on the stand and say, well, there was a concerted campaign to oust me, is like, well, yeah, because you weren't supporting the president's foreign policy. Of course they got rid of you. Why would you go on national TV and whine about that? I was basically like, guys, I'm a deep state stooge, and they were mean to me. It's like, that does not boost the Democrats' case for impeachment. Like, if you want Donald Trump to get impeached, that is the last thing that you want to go on stand and state. And I just don't get what they're doing here. You know? Because maybe he did something and it's worthy of impeachment. I don't know. But like, if you go up there and you do that, then it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Anyways, that's just a quick little rant there for you guys. I don't want to get too political today, but it is just really weird to me. Yeah, let's read these.
Uzi Knesset says, I will say yesterday and today's trades were some of the smoothest I've ever taken.
Yeah, those were
no
good
bullshit,
ones.
they just went. Winstanzamam says, good morning, speculator Seth. I will be watching the hearings this morning. The YouTube bell notification reminder did not ring on my page. I hope everyone has a good weekend.
I forgot
to set the
stream up.
Gary Rich says, I respectfully recommend not going there. It's not worth it and you need extensive data on time intervals which are greatly expensive. Lucas says, I've phobed out most of the volume that comes at 8:20 is either go in the same direction or fade really quick. Michael XC says, why are the social networks censoring the whistleblower's name?
Well, Michael, you know, that's an interesting topic. I think we talked about that a little bit yesterday, but from my perspective, for starters, his name is out there.
Michael XC says, I got the YouTube notification on the Windows 10 Action Center.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Yeah, but you're supposed to like, schedule the stream. And I've been figuring, because I'll come in, I'll set the next one up. When I first started, I set the next one up immediately after closing this one. And then you would see all day, whenever I went to YouTube, I'd say, oh, there's going to be a stream tomorrow. And I thought, that's not the best way to do it, because at that point, I want you guys to see this video had been uploaded so that you think to comment on it and watch it again. Review what we did and stuff. So I instead said, okay, how about before I leave work, I'll schedule the next one. That way, when you get home at night, it'll remind people. And that worked really well. But I forgot to do it yesterday. So then I didn't schedule it until just before it went. And so you might not have gotten the notification early enough. And I could tell, like, there was 2 people were ready for the stream, whereas before we had like 10 or 12. So I apologize. All my fault. Anyways, Michael's question. Why are they censoring the whistleblower's name? I mean, here's the thing. The whistleblower's name is out there, and it's not necessarily a huge deal. Well, it's not necessarily the end of the world. This might be a bite here, by the way. But, there are a lot of crazy people out there, and I would have to say that guy is at risk. Now, I really think that he has to testify, and all of these things, and I think that expecting his privacy to be held is a little unrealistic. Of course, people are going to know. But if I was a social network, I would be concerned that because we posted his name, somebody went crazy and went and tried to assassinate him or something like that, So I think that from the perspective of the social networks, it's smart for them to be censoring his name out. I mean, everybody knows it now, so it's not like It's not like they're preventing critical information going. We all know, well, okay, 2 ticks there all at once. That's interesting. Why did they take O6 half like that? Hmm. That one was kind of weird because these kind of gaps in the chart, we haven't seen those in the 10-year for a week or two. And to just see that one show up there at O6 half out of nowhere seems really weird to me. Okay.
Uzi Knesset says at Lucas, yep. It's a trade like any other if one takes it, but it's just relegated to a more important time of the day.
Yeah.
Heck, I'd say if you bought the 820 candle and it failed, a flip would have a. Uzi Knesset says really good chance of working out and recovering the loss and then some. IQ says ZB at 50% PB. Lucas says at UZI true. I've tried before this by fading most of the time, I guess cause I like to fade. But I will give this some serious thoughts to see how viable could be. Michael XZ says news. Wrong ZH says that how I made 4K when I started trading S Uzi. Wrong ZH says but I don't like it now after all.
Well, so IQ is pointing out to me that we had a pullback and that it's a good spot. And I'm definitely seeing that. If I'm reading the direction correctly, then what we should see is
Uzi Knesset says I've actually never traded a flip personally. I'm more inclined to just stop and come back to it the next day lol.
So if I'm correct, then on the pullback, what we should see is a lack of interest and maybe even some weird games here, and then it flipping just kind of nonsensically out of nowhere. And to see that really aggressive push down in a context where it doesn't really make sense for them to do that, that makes, and the fact that kind of all of the numbers align with it, it's maybe almost a little too perfect, but I think it fits in with our strategy.
Lucas says you need nerves of steel to flip. Or sim trade lol.
Yeah. But I'm just that sell at 06 half was really weird. I don't know what the deal was with that. And it's not like
Wrong ZH says it doesn't improve the return in long run statistically.
We do have news in like 10 minutes, right? Capacity utilization rate and industrial production. That's usually not a huge number, although industrial production, because of the trade war and everything, that would be one to watch. Change in the total inflation adjusted value of output produced by manufacturers, mines, and utilities. That is okay. I wonder if we went in the gold market, if that number is important. Industrial production. White House releases memo detailing April call between Trump and Ukraine's Zelensky. Oh, so they actually, this call that they've been talking about all week, the White House has it. Now here's another thing. The cumulative delta is so negative this morning, despite that huge move up.
Uzi Knesset says yeah I'm more inclined to shoot for the same risk and same reward just once a day. It feels safer that way lol.
This is a weird setup, folks. If they move up again and they check out like 08, you have a market that is really offsites. It makes me wonder why IQ is so confident that it's going to move up.
Uzi Knesset says I guess you could say it's compartmentalizing my trading.
Sure. And now look, there's a stack at 6. Okay. Well, I did not get a good spot in the queue there, and it looks like somebody bought it like, yeah, damn. Damn. Well, I don't feel safe with those prices. I guess '07 half was kind of the spot yesterday, wasn't it? There was a stack on top of me at '06 half, but now it's gone.
Uzi Knesset says is for ZB I'd say bullish on the day above '06. The profile is relatively neutral, so low risk buys below '06 could be warranted if she just rotates. Wrong ZH says I think we all will get it eventually the more we stay in the game.
Yeah. I mean, you learn so much. Um, hmm.
Ace Trade says morning.
Good morning, Ace. Well, I'm really not a fan of how
Uzi
that went
Knesset
down.
says at wrong ZH that's how she goes right there, thumbs up. Ace Trade says got a short at 3,107.25.
Hmm. I'm not getting a spike in level 2 over in the E-mini, so uncertain. And the treasuries don't, I'm not 100% sure what's going on here either. If I can get '06 half, then awesome, but uh yeah. Something's going on here. I mean, that stacking and all that tomfoolery was kind of a little weird. And they really don't want to fill me. If they do fill me, they
Uzi
might.
Knesset says funny observation, the height of this 820 candle is equal to the high of yesterday's thinking face.
This is the same. I remembered the '07 half. You remember the '07 half yesterday, yeah? And then they ranged around here in this exact same area, and then eventually there was a short squeeze and they pushed it higher.
Uzi Knesset says yeah I bet it's about the same in ZN just different numbers lol.
Yeah. You kind of got the same thing going on too, where it was like yesterday you had a ton of volume go through around '07 half, but then they were refused to push it any further. Okay. So they did hit me and only 487 to clear? Okay. That's not the way that that's supposed to happen. Put that over there.
Michael XC says cool it's moving down.
Cool, it's moving down. Do you see the stacks that were
Uzi
like at
Knesset
'05
says
and '05 half
OZN's
are
first
gone?
hour high today is 2 ticks higher than yesterday's.
Hmm.
Ace Trade says got a target at 3,098 hope it gets there sometime.
Hmm. Sure are being sly here. Guess we have some news in 5 minutes. It looks like they're stirring the pot. See how they ticked it up? Like they let it come, they stacked it, they let it come back through and didn't hold it at all, and now it ticked back up and the stacks again. Too slow.
Michael XC says I really can. Michael XC says tell which way the market's going.
Oh, I really can't tell which way the market's going. At the moment, it's kind of looking like that selling pressure was all a game. Like, they got a decent number of people to sell it, and now there's icebergs showing up to buy it. You know? What's the 5-year doing here? 5 years being really odd. Okay.
Gary Rich says it got real quiet in here for a bit. I heard a cricket queef.
It did, didn't it? Well, once I start taking trades, I've noticed that you guys get quiet. I don't know if it's because all of a sudden you want to pay attention to your own stuff and maybe you're in your own trades, or if you're just being polite and want to let me focus. But that does tend to happen, doesn't it? Okay. Yes, different views. Other markets misaligned as well. Well, I can see that that Japanese yen looks like. Man, I need to move that. That's the wrong one. Didn't actually take the screenshot. Clicky clicky. Only 61 bid, huh? And the 5-year is in a really choppy. It's really odd for the 5-year to get that choppy.
Ace Trade says out with a loss.
Out with a loss? What was your price? 107.25? That's weird. I mean, we got a good uptick there in the
Ace
Treasury.
Trade says now watch it drop.
Right. I mean, I can see it kind of like lurking out there, like Okay, well, there was the news. Industrial production for October, negative spot 8 versus spot 4 estimate. It's pretty negative. You see we're getting polling and all sorts of junk all over the place now in the 10-year. Let me just refresh here, make sure I get these numbers right. Capacity utilization rate 76.7% versus an expected 77.2. I don't know what that means. Percentage of available resources being utilized by manufacturers. Industrial production negative spot 8 versus negative spot 4. Hmm. I did get a positive tick in my favor, right? Yeah, it did give me one. They took 07 at one point. You can also see this 4-tick chop zone in the
Ace
30
Trade
year.
says got back in at 3,107.50 short.
Okay. Oh, by the way, Bitcoin is in the way. Let's move that. So that 07 is pulling in there. They're taking it. Just a few transactions there. 5-year. Doing the same thing in 19 and a quarter. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, so that time when they decided to sell 06 half, there was a little bit of pushback. I'm actually not a fan.
Jake says I think Tiz is the bottom for BTC.
Could be that Bitcoin's kind of seems to be fighting here at least. Now they pull 06. He's adding a bunch at 05 half. Okay. So when they sold 06 half and there was a little fight back, and I said I'm not necessarily a fan of that. The reason I said that is because that might mean that market makers were doing it. That there's too many people seeing it as a long and hitting into it. And so, of course, he takes it down a tick. Makes sense? And now the 5-year is...
Ace Trade says it Jake I'm sure you're correct. So he pulled the 05 half. Ace Trade says another loss, too close to open. What the heck market?
I don't know, man. Well, maybe it's just the going short. I mean, the delta for the morning has been long in the mini. So I'm not getting the kind of candles I would expect here on my histogram.
Harlequin says seems I am not the only one struggling today lol.
Well, it is Friday, isn't it? My
Ace
stomach's
Trade
making
says I
noise.
know, but usually when I get in, the market just does what I want it to, no matter what. This is garbage.
This is garbage.
Gary Rich says at Ace I'm still concentrating on shorts only with these inflated runs to the highs. The European session has been a real good guide. Bladeaway Rotter says greater than underscore greater than my stock just had a reverse split. GG. Harlequin says at ACE trades time to sue the market makers.
Oh, that hurts. That
Ace Trade
hurts.
says at Harlequin that is what I am talking about, they can't stop us all. Jake says time to sell ETH and buy BTC.
Okay, well, let's just wait. Clearly the wrong trade, though. That's the kind of one that makes you feel like you targeted, and I feel like that's like, you know what, it's not you, but it's like your strategy. The people that try to take that kind of play got targeted, you know?
Harlequin says at ACE trades yeah just need to figure out who it is, can't be Deutsche Bank, because they are the guys on the losing side.
If only we
Ace
could
Trade says at
see.
Jake I'll do it, and when my broker asks why, I LL tell him some guy named Jake in a chat room told me to. Air Cages says hello.
Hey, air cages. If only we had a way of seeing which order is attached to which trader. Look at that. That's such bullshit. We should not have been trading there.
Ace Trade says at Harlequin or maybe that is what they want you to think? Ace Trade says at Air Cages howdy. Claudio Ibarola says I am using a 30-day TT demo account and for some reason the values for the depth of market near the last price AARE different. Air Cages says did I miss anything? Harlequin says at ACE trades you are giving them far too much credit. Jake says at ACE trades just trying to help out. Ace Trade says at Air Cages I had a rare 2 loser in a row.
I shouldn't have taken -4 on that. But I had the bid behind me, you know? Oh. Well, now maybe the E-mini's going to turn.
Claudio Ibarola says I saw that the price was going short before that your data.
Yeah. Before you saw it here on the screen. Well, now at 04 they're doing a little bit of volume. See, now they're going to do this thing where like they're going to start ticking back up and you're going to be like, "Oh, I want to buy it again." Oh, and then they'll push it lower or I mean, I am getting a reversal in the 5-year. Well, now we've gotten them on both sides, I suppose. Did I only ever get one tick out of that? I did. That sucks, man. Maybe I really just need to be a seller today. That's our problem.
Harlequin says by the way, was there any reason news the market made a new all-time high during the overnight? Or did they just want to kill some shorties?
I don't know. No. The reason was because Larry Kudlow says that they're getting really close to a deal. That's why. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. That's what's going on here, man. There may actually be more in it. There's too much volume there at 03. See, I think the only way that I can take that one is that, we were just going long and obviously it was short. Risk on. It's just unfortunate that it took us 4 ticks to figure that out. But the cumulative delta is massively short.
Gary Rich says close to a deal. I'm just that close to becoming trans fluid trader.
By the way, weren't you guys saying that below 06 and ZB would be the buy spot? Do you still feel that way? Because I'm not, I don't know.
Uzi Knesset says lol what?
The E-mini is going to try and break that overnight high, right?
Uzi Knesset says I said it could be a low risk buy.
Yeah, it could be a low risk buy. Okay.
Uzi Knesset says 06 is my line in the sand.
Trump in the call tells Zelensky that Ukraine was always well represented at the Miss Universe pageant. Guys, this is just comical. All right, well.
Uzi Knesset says grinning squinting face.
So let's see if they're able to tick up at 04 and 04 half. I mean, there is some decent iceberging down in there.
Harlequin says nice 20,000 volume opening candle in the Amini.
And it was a really strong buy and then sell. There was an iceberg up there. I haven't seen a bubble in a long time, and especially not on the open.
Gary Rich says Tudor Jones feels 25% tariffs equaling 62 billion, Fed with 100 bill, the tariffs are a wash.
So they weren't able to buy up into 04 and 03 half win offer again. If they just start careening down here into the low, I'm going to be a little mad. Not give any chance to take it, but...
Michael XC says Joe Biden got caught commenting about Ukrainian girls when he was in Ukraine some years ago.
Well, and now I'm getting one of these in the 5-year. Look at that. $369 to make L3 go offer? Really? And a stack at L3? They want me to sell O2.
Jake says all in BTC now.
Okay, your money. I wouldn't be touching it.
Ace Trade says got a short signal 3,108.75, but too choppy to take.
That's all happened in the past. Just in the past few minutes, isn't it? Well, that's interesting. Somebody really feels strongly that there's going to be a... Well, they were ticking at 03. The last ask was at 03, wasn't it? Yes, it was. They stacked 417 and then they pulled and it ticked up. My strategy is telling me to go long here. All right. It's not the best spot. E-mini was tumbling, though.
Ace Trade says it, Jake, I'm sure you will be fine. Harlequin says I guess the guy who bought the daily high in S feels dumb now, face with tears of joy. Jake says this is the last time BTC will be this cheap.
I don't know about that one. Jake.
Harlequin says instant karma asterisk dumb. Ace Trade says it. Jake, I am sure you are right. Uzi Knesset says bold assumption there.
Can always go lower. And I don't see how you guys look at a chart like that and say, oh, it's going to hold. You don't know it's that. You don't know that. They can always push it lower. Listen, one person, always remember this, and it doesn't matter what market you are in, one person can completely invalidate your trade. There are people out there big enough to do that. So,
Gary Rich says I'm gonna short after European session closes. Have time still.
just remember that when you look at something and you say, oh, it
Jake
looks
says
cheap.
face blowing a kiss.
And this is a good support here, and I think that this is going to hold. One person can invalidate your trade. So,
Air Cages says I wish I could increase my BTC short actually.
that's interesting.
Ace Trade says it. Gary Rich just made up for my loss. Let her drop.
Okay, the 5-year ticked up there.
Harlequin says maybe he is a big guy and can make this the bottom.
It could be. Could be Wells in here trying to buy it, for all we know. That's where I'm saying, like, especially in Bitcoin, I would be using more than just a chart to determine where you're going to buy and sell. Okay, well now there's
Michael XC says I'm short S from 09.5 in profit. Do I stick with it?
Well,
Jake says I have market depth.
I think that if I was short, I would be looking for at least 31.
Lucas says I sold S2. Nice signal, Ace. Gary Rich says I love when order flow debate top people. I laugh my ass off. Ace Trade says at Michael XC I would move stop to profit taking. Let her ride.
Yeah. Okay, so the Treasury seem to indicate that they think it's turning.
Ace Trade says at Lucas sure welcome, glad to help. Uzi Knesset says market depth changes every microsecond lol. Michael XC says yes stop is in profit.
Well, see, now that's a thing that irks me, Uzi, that when people use that argument.
Uzi Knesset says I got a sim long in ZB at 03.
Well, you got to be really careful about looking at any one individual change and saying that's the one thing that I'm going to use to buy or to sell, right? When you're looking at order flow, you have to look at things in aggregate. So if you see a big stack, like, sure, that can matter, and sure, that can be enough
Ace
to like
Trade
push the
says
market
Michael
over the
XC
edge.
Get your target off the table, or at least keep it way down there.
But it's much more important to see level 2 changes in aggregate that support your trade. So in this particular situation, we had a move down that, quite frankly, was a little bit too easy for them to bring it down. And then when they got down to the bottom, there was a lot of absorption and there was a lot of level 2 activity suggesting that big players were buying it there. Now, they appear to be trading off of the E-mini, which means that if the E-mini turns around
Gary Rich
here,
says,
they
"Come
could
on,
very
Seth, don't
easily
do
go
that."
lower. They could very easily go lower because I'm not seeing. I do see that there was buying in there, but I'm not seeing
Uzi
the follow
Knesset
through.
says, "Oh, I'm just saying, I have market depth. Doesn't mean anything for Jake's BTC trade lol."
Sure. Now, you can see market depth in Bitcoin, though, right? You can look on those exchanges and you can see what the depth and the orders are doing. And I've spoken to many people that tell me that they watch when they see those big spikes. They watch and see their absorption, and then they catch it, and they've caught these dumps.
Jake says, "I am an amateur, but I trust in my strategy."
Mm.
Bladeaway Rotter says, "I love that people trade Bitcoin like, guys, it goes from 11K to 12K, and I'm over here like less than so you're risking 11K for a $110. Smart."
Mm. Yeah, I don't think that the risk reward in Bitcoin makes a whole lot of sense to me. For sure. Totally with you on that one.
Ace Trade says at UZI Knesset there are old traders and there are bold traders. There are no old, bold traders.
Like, the highest that I could see Bitcoin going in the next 6 months is 12K.
Uzi Knesset says at ACE Trades true that lol. Gary Rich says Seth I can prove your theory is not right. I attend risk conferences and they are monsters.
They are monsters. Well, I mean, that's the thing where that's why I'm never willing to just go straight out on the line here and say, "Oh yeah, this is a dumb trade, man. You really shouldn't buy Bitcoin because it is going down, down, down." Because
Jake
I
says
know
yeah I am a short-term trader, not gonna HODL long.
I know that if a whale disagrees with me in the short term, I'm going to be wrong. But that's where I'm just saying, to me, the risk reward for longs doesn't make sense, and that's why I haven't touched Bitcoin in quite some time. Well, there's a decent amount of orders holding O4. They take a bid, 700 bid for 2,500 at O4 half, nobody hitting it.
Bladeaway Rotter says also I fail math, lol 1100k, still that's nothing near the 30% drop it could take again where you'd lose. 3k or greater from the pull back on the investor's part.
Okay, that time some people hit 04 half and there was a little bit of a pull at 04 500. Yeah, 500 pulled at 04. Oh, now actually some stacking. I'm pulling on the bid at 04. UK election polls tracker. Tory support hits 40% as lead over Labour widens to 11 points. Tory support has hit 40%, increasing the party's lead over Labour ahead of the general election, according to the rolling average of opinion polls. Okay. Well, now I'm getting another spike in the 5-year. 07.5 iceberging.
Gary Rich says I highly recommend buy James Simmons' new book. It's not out yet. It will blow your mind away.
Not a ton. They did hit into 17 3/4 though. Well, it'll be interesting to see what they do in the 5-year if they get to 18. Because there was a little bit of a gap there. Okay, so they're able to make 04 go offer. A lot traded there to make it happen, though. A lot traded there really fast. Oh, man. The E-mini's kind of fighting here.
Ace Trade says at Gary Rich it takes a lot to blow my mind these days. Live Action says Seth I like your analyses jumping in on volume but have to have a plan if stop below elephant or if another close support offers chance to get more on.
You're totally right. Action.
Ace Trade says tight stop on E-mini. Bladeaway Rotter says if it's not out then you must be a promoter or close friend, in which case what's the difference? Lucas
you're right.
says Coke will do.
I think that I haven't been doing a good job of thinking about, okay, where is this wrong?
Ace Trade says lock in some profit, look like it might be headed up.
I think that if this goes wrong, that it's going to be like 04 half 05, low interest, and then they turn back down and they'll start hitting the 03 would be like lower lows. I should probably be moving this up a little bit.
Greg Orlovsky says ES stopped 3107.50.
Okay, so that's an okay take. I mean, it was nothing too exciting, but it just took it. And they all ticked at the same time as well, which tends to be positive. They're going to trade 05? There you go.
Greg Orlovsky says there is a ledge at 3107 even.
Yeah, you can see anytime that the E-mini starts ticking down, they start bidding it up in the treasuries.
Jake says bye guys man red heart kiss mark man been trading for 5H.
I'll catch you later, man. That's a long time to be trading this early. Wow. You must be in Europe, though, huh? Mm. A little bit of iceberging there at 3106.75.
Jake says Sweden.
Sweden. Oh, okay.
Ace Trade says it Jake have a good one. May your day be great. Popularity Matters says I just care about coffee and eating today, screw the markets. Live Action says CME Pit S analyst buying 3,110 target 3,170 stop 3,070.
You know what? Popularity matters. I wish that I was with you. That's what I should have done. Because up there when we were up at 07, I got tricked big time. And you know what? Fridays really suck.
IQ says did you switch to live at 6? Very nice entry at 3.
Well, that 30 years.
Uzi Knesset says target on my 03 long sim is 10.
Okay.
Lucas says spot on. Ilya Koppel says so you trade live? Ace Trade says at Live Action you know how much money I could make if I had a 40-point stop?
Ilya, I usually, at least right now, I'm usually trading live, but I don't trade it live every day necessarily. Sometimes there are days where I know that I just don't have an edge, and you know I don't have a huge account, so I'll switch back and forth. So I would not hold myself up as like, oh, here I have this amazing performance and everybody should trade the way. That's not really the point behind this room. I know that a lot of people on YouTube, they do that, even if they're not actually profitable, because you know that's the clickbait and stuff like that. But really, it's more about creating a community and just kind of sharing what our observations are. And I just happen to be the lucky person that's dumb enough to stream this all.
Bladeaway Rotter says I swing. I used to do the day thing like you, but then the realization that the majority of the trades I would bout out of returned to same value if not greater after I'd close. So to combat this, Bladeaway Rotter says, the trade-off seemed broken, so I fixed it. Bladeaway Rotter says I went to swing. There's two ways of seeing it. Either you have the capital to make a good chunk on price action or you're hold out so long that it takes you weeks to commit to a stock for a few hours.
So anyways, there are some time periods where I do well, usually the beginning of the year. There's some periods where I don't do well. Sometimes I have amazing trades. Sometimes I have like really super awful bad days.
Live Action says at ACE Trades lol just pointing out key levels they're watching.
Okay. So, yeah, but this trade is live. So, there you go. And you know what? I am kind of sitting because I took 2 trades and they were bad. I normally, man, on Fridays
Ilya
are
Koppel
hard.
says, why do you hold this position? Market starts go down.
Well, so right now, I am a little weary about it. I like to try and get 4.
Lucas says it is not going down.
Yeah, it's not going down. I'm not seeing anything like, I don't know, this is tough. So at the moment, I'm not seeing anything that's actively pushing
Popularity
back.
Matters says scalp, momentum, swing, 10 following it all works for people who know what they are doing and who have the tools to make it work. Ace Trade says it Lucas hang in there bro.
I'm not seeing anything actively pushing back against this trade at the moment. So I my tendency is to try and let it run, but I am seeing that the activity has decreased significantly. The E-mini is just going sideways.
I agree 100% be all of them.
But you have to wonder, now that they're getting back to this '05, I mean, that was a spot. That was where it was supposed to hold, remember?
Lucas says at ACE always smiley face.
Okay, so they took that one at '05 and they put 300 on it. And it's pretty strong stack
Ace
on the
Trade says at
uptick.
Lucas you have profit locked in, right? Lucas says Seth look how 055 behaves if it trades there, it could turn around Gier.
Yeah, well, that's going to be
Lucas
some
says here
resistance,
asterisk.
right? It kind of depends on, I guess the question is, what was that thing from earlier? Was that thing from earlier somebody like long and puking out? But the thing was, is when it went down, especially through this '05 area, not a lot traded down through there, right? Like at '05, at '05 half, I see 1336 traded offer, 980, or sorry, into the bid, and 983 traded into the offer. Like they only took 1,000 to make them tick through almost this whole area. So that to me was like I said in the Discord, I was like, this looks to me like the market maker just bullshitting people. So if that was him just trying to get filled lower or something, then there's a possibility that they kick this up, that they're just going to go right through that area again. But because of everything else that happened, there is going to be some resistance around the '06. So you can see that the 2600 sitting there, right? 33 viewers, is this all-time high? I don't think it's the all-time, well, it's definitely not the all-time high. The all-time high was when the very first stream that we ever did, when we were streaming the Bitcoin futures going live. And that one was like 4,000 people, right? But since then, I think this is pretty high. 33 people. I appreciate you guys stopping in and saying hi. And we're getting a lot of new people and stuff. I think we've been doing well.
Popularity Matters says that reminded me to give you a like.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm cognizant of it possibly stopping here, and anytime that we're at +4, I'm always thinking about taking it off. But I'm not seeing an exit. I'm not seeing a glaring exit signal, but I am seeing that the activity is less. So if this was like they're in some sort of a downtrend and they really want to push it down, then this would be a place to go short. But to me, the context of that doesn't really make sense, because the E-mini had a really big gap up overnight, and they're selling it pretty aggressively in the E-mini. And I think that they haven't even started to retrace the gap, that all the way down to 30.99.50. So yeah, I think that it's okay that we keep it on, but we're gonna keep a close eye on it for sure.
Ace Trade says at Lucas me too, but we also have to pay ourselves for our effort.
Yeah, you do.
Live Action says +4 me too. Lucas says at ACE Trades okay hand. Harlequin says man had a mini short at 3,106.50 but it just doesn't move. Got out break even. Just seems fishy. Ace Trade says at Lucas got to go for a bit, keep an eye on it for me. Also, Gary is in the exact same trade. Lucas says good. Ilya Koppel says talks about trading.
Yeah, well, that's what we do. Sometimes we talk about politics. Sometimes we talk about other things when there's nothing going on. But right now, you know what? Friday is always the most interesting days. Friday is hard to trade on Friday.
Live Action says see ya at ACE Trades. PS nice short yesterday.
They're always messing with you on Fridays, Oh, CAs. Okay, so there
Popularity
was
Matters
maybe the
says
first
there's another
time.
public hearing today. Ilya Koppel says when ZN gives you 3+ tick you should close it.
You think so, huh? Well, that was the first time that I saw pushback, but he
Popularity
took it.
Matters says ZN is Satan.
I understand why some of you guys don't like ZN, but I really love it. In terms of when it gives you 3
Bladeaway
ticks,
says Seth, the ultimate question.
3 ticks is for sure when you get 3 ticks, That's a pretty good trade. Like, but 3 ticks is like you caught the noise.
Popularity Matters says I only look at S and ZB these days.
So remember that the average.
Bladeaway Rodder says, was it an inside job, or was it really terrorist?
I've tried looking at this a bunch of different ways, but the average rotation in ZN is 4 ticks. So that means you're usually not going to get one of them, so the 3 makes sense. But that just means...
Live Action says yes, hearing witness was fired way before.
That just means that you caught the noise. If you catch more than 4, then that means that you caught more than just noise. You caught the start of a new trend, essentially. Okay, so there they took 0.5 there a little bit more convincingly than when they bid into it and somebody trades 0.6. So here I think we can at least manage that a little bit. It's going to be interesting now here because they did that, right? This is kind of that thing that I was talking about before where it was like, because it fell down the way that it did before, there's the chance that they're just going to zip right through here. Well, they definitely did that with 0.6. Is they going to do the same thing at 6.5 and 7?
Popularity Matters says witness was fired because of Americans' mayor gangster friends wanted someone more open to their guidance.
Probably. I already, you know what, you missed my rant on that Popularity Matters, but I will give it again briefly. If you want Donald Trump to get impeached, getting up there and complaining about the policy direction of the administration is probably the worst thing that you could do. And I don't understand why these witnesses are going up there and doing it in that manner. You need to sit down and show that they're doing something criminal, not that you had a policy disagreement with them.
Harlequin says, well, now I wish I stayed in my short. Feels bad. Would have been an ace 2-pointer.
Good job. Well, you know what? Stuff happens. I mean, they did break a new low there in the E-mini, but it's not going super fast yet. I mean, look, they're not even to the low.
Live Action says I see us up spike Asian session. Was there a change in trade negotiations?
Okay, so overnight, Larry Kudlow said something that basically like they were getting really close to a trade deal getting done. And that was why the E-mini spiked up. I think that the market is ignoring it because, well, it's retracing and the market is kind of starting to get a little wary because one, that is way too high, way too far for the ES to go. Like that's a really big gap that they left behind, and gaps have a tendency to fill. And given the location of it, there's going to be a lot of people
Live
concerned
Action
about.
says thanks, that explains it.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people concerned about an exhaustion gap, right? But then number 2 thing is like, man, guys, if trade negotiations are going sour, Larry Kudlow is going to be the last person to tell you. He's going to be the last person to tell you. And just the fact that they have to get on a call, they're going to get on a call today and work it out. I don't think it looks good. I'm honestly, I was tempted to come in and
Popularity Matters says I think they are going after the bribery charge and building around the dysfunction and criminal element in his Ukraine policy.
I don't know.
He is getting impeached, but not removed by the Senate. He wins 2020.
You might be right, Popularity Matters. Maybe it's that at this point the Democrats know that he's not going to be impeached, so they're more, instead of trying to actually say things that would say, hey, he should be impeached, instead they're trying to scare people about his policy.
Knesset says, well, damn, I was wrong as hell about CB face with tongue.
Really? Wait, what did you say about ZB that was wrong, Newsy? You do not think that they were going to come back up like this? Okay, so iceberg at 0.6.5.
Uzi Knesset says nothing, I am kidding, lol.
Okay. Uzi's never wrong, guys. Never wrong. Okay, 0.6.5 bid, 600. A little pushback. There was an iceberg there.
Uzi Knesset says just not today, face with tongue.
Just not today. Well, the 5 years still not showing. Well, okay, so now the 10 year is giving me a little something, but there was an iceberg there,
Uzi Knesset says, and hey, you benefiting, so buck up, buckaroo.
and there was a little bit of.
Uzi Knesset
Hmm.
says, lol. Lucas says the market is wrong, not Uzi.
Uzi doesn't follow the market. The market follows Uzi.
Ace Trade says that Lucas came back in time to move stop to 3,106.25.
Okay, so there it was again at '07. Look, only 825 to make it go bid, and it goes again. And the E-mini is pushing pretty hard. I need to temper myself here because I'm pretty excited about how far this has gone. I'm looking at it
Lucas
and
says that ACE trades moved close to that too, but readjusting.
this
Gary
one
Rich
is
says this is hearing on inquiry to proceed on impeachment. Not actual just inquiry. It's like jacking off in condom with a sock and calling it sex, lol.
oh gosh,
Uzi
dude.
Knesset says hey I like that it followed that neutral overnight profile though. Best bet as a rotation backup when it got down there. Breakout woulda been hella selling.
Okay. So right there at '07, that's the first real pushback that we've gotten. I'm looking at this and I'm like, with the force that it's come up, could they break out of the '08 and then it could be a race for the high of the day? That seems like a real possibility, but it's already gone 10 ticks. I mean, that's a swing right there. So you would need the E-mini to go down a lot more, but the good news is that we're not anywhere close to my short side targets in the E-mini. Okay, some stacks on the bid at '02. Oh, they're like, well, those are like way far away. Down in here. That's interesting. But we did get pushback at '07. It was interesting because remember I said it didn't take very much to make it to go bid, but then when it did, somebody decided to use that as their spot to try and make a stand. Now I wonder if I don't know. I don't know.
Uzi Knesset says hey I like that it followed that neutral overnight profile though. Best bet as a rotation backup when it got down there. Breakout woulda been hella selling. Lucas says that ACE trades moved close to that too, but readjusting. Popularity matters says lol.
Mm-mm. Right now, so another thing. Okay, so first of all, point one was I need to temper my expectations because this looks like it could just like careen out of control, but I should remember that's when they catch you. Number two is that it really looks like that the 5 year is still in charge. The 5 year could like really come up there, right? Yeah. So they took '07 again. Now
Uzi
'07 half.
Knesset
Let's
says
see.
ID take the same approach with your trade Seth, you're good now but look out for that rotation back down.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So that 25 is not pulling off at all.
Live Action says what a piece of work this witnesses it just gets worse for the Dems.
You think so?
Popularity Matters says I removed all overnight info from my charts. It
Really?
lets me see the distribution on my charts a bit better without all noise.
That's interesting. Okay, so that time they hit it and he held it with a little bit of iceberging at '07, but only
Uzi Knesset
1,000.
says day doesn't have that it's gonna explode upward or downward feel to it.
Okay, now the 5 year is making an adjustment of some sort. Hmm.
Popularity Matters says he is getting impeached no matter what guys, he just isn't getting removed.
Yeah,
Removal and
I
impeachment
agree.
aren't the same thing.
I think that's the most likely scenario for sure. Well, I still got 30 minutes. Can definitely manage this again. The 30-year did show us a spike.
Uzi Knesset says I think if ZN rotates back down it's gonna be slow and pokey.
Yeah. Well, the thing that's interesting is when they take this bid at '07, it's very easy for them.
Uzi Knesset says unless someone important farts and blows the market up.
It's very easy for them, but I'm not sure that it's up to the guys in the 10-year.
Michael XC says when I Google whistleblower name, I can't find it there either. They're censoring it from search results.
Really? Now that's interesting.
Uzi Knesset says nah, it comes up on my end.
I mean, here's the thing. We know everything to know about him now. Does it really matter anymore?
Uzi Knesset says it's just that only right-wing media outlets are reporting on it.
Sure. I'm sure at some point. Oh man. Choking on water, folks. This is my nemesis. Water.
Lucas says take more than 2 if it comes down, Seth.
Yeah. Well, let's take it to there then, huh? But I'm really thinking I want this spot right here. As soon as I do that, they're going to be like, sorry, Seth. We can't fill you anymore. It really looks like there could be more in it to me, but I've got plenty of other things telling me that this is where this is my stop. For one thing, 19 is definitely a distribution in the 5-year. Few buys, please. Thank you. Wait, that's not right. 7, 2, it should be 2. Yes. +2. I got really lucky on that one, guys. Because that one could have very easily have gone lower, and I would have just been done and -6 on the day and pissed. So I'm fortunate that one. Here again, it's like,
Uzi Knesset says nice bag.
Yeah, thanks. It's not necessarily the worst thing in the world that I took this trade, but that I let it go so far against me.
Lucas says good job.
I feel really bad that, I guess it was just the spot that I got in kind of distorted my view of things, and I really would have only have liked to have taken -2 on that. And I just, when I take a -4, that really hurts. It doesn't help that I'm catching a lot of -4s. So yeah, I'm wondering, where does that put us? I'm hoping. I was looking through. By the way, guys, since we had a profitable day, go ahead and hit that like button. If you've been holding back because you're like, well, I don't know if he's doing well, and if somebody new comes into the channel, I don't want them to see him having a losing day. What you can now safely click the like button. So, and I think that might be my last one there. Here we go. I want to see where did that, because yesterday we took a little, we lost 7. That takes us back up to 8. Okay. We're okay. I'm been watching it closely, but was it? I took '07, right? Yeah, I took '07. I'm just looking at that like, okay, they're gonna distribute there, but then are they gonna British could do it? And I'll be like, oh man,
Lucas says sim sell for fun.
Sim sell for fun? No. Nah, I don't think that I want to sell it. To be honest. I really think let me go back to the chart and let me try and lay this out for you. Here's the E-mini. This right here. They're not going to let that stand. I'm telling you. It might not be today. It might not be tomorrow. Well, of course it won't be tomorrow because tomorrow is Saturday. It might not be Monday, but they usually do not let those stand. I mean, sometimes in the E-mini, but usually they don't let those stand. So today would be a really good place to retrace it. Like, even if you were bullish, hey, come on. It's only like 5 points. 5 points down.
Lucas says
Back
it
up.
certainly won't be on Sunday.
Yeah, it certainly won't be on Sunday. Hey, yeah, actually, well, maybe they would do it on the extended session. I don't know. Anyways, I'm thinking they're going to retrace that. So that's point number 1. Okay. Now, when I come back over to the 10-year, here I can see, okay, we're in a range. We busted out over this range earlier. We had some accumulation down in here, right? This right here, accumulation, distribution, and if they get above that, shoot the moon. So, we got to take it off at 07. Oh, that was a good catch. We got to take it off at 07 because, oh, I have to move this over here.
Lucas says already coming down.
Yeah, it is. So now, from my perspective, why 07? Because I know our new friend there. What was his name? We want to acknowledge our new friend. Seems like he seems like he understands order flow. Ilya Koppel. Ilya. You know what? That's a Russian name. You must be. We have a couple of good Russian friends. So we have a guy in our Discord who is quite a good trader named Igor Russian Hakinovich. But he is Russian. He lives in the United States, but I think he's originally Russian. Anyways, okay, so over here was the signal that got us in. Okay. Do you see the little spike? See the spike? Do it with a highlighter. There's the spike right there. Okay, so we caught it. Relatively calm order flow all the way through here. Market maker just able to make it go up. And then we get 10. Okay, so when I see 8 to 10, I'm always thinking there could be a rotation. And then another spike. And you could see it very clearly in the 30-year, right? And then the other thing is right here in the 5-year zipper. So whenever I see a zipper, that is a potential profit-taking area because although they can come out of those higher, I don't have a very good track record of predicting those. So, yeah, so I caught it and I was able to play my exit correctly. Now this one I didn't do right. Like, we didn't I mean, there was these spikes, but were they really enough? I don't know. And I cut it like what, right there? I was 06.5, right? I saw that move down and I said, well, that one doesn't make sense and they're going to buy it back up. Okay, I was right. That one just didn't go. But see, where should my area have been? It should have been like right here. I should have puked, and I puked like right there. So yeah, that one could have been managed better. When I'm telling you, this one right here, guys. Can you see that? Wish I had a way to like zoom it in. The zipper in the 10-year, and then a gap and down. Those almost always go back into the gap. I'm starting to notice. I think we should keep a stat on it, but I think that you can almost always buy 06 half and make one tick on that. So they almost always head fake. Now, that said, the E-mini is recovering pretty good, isn't it? So. But hey, we made it out today profitable. Makes up for our $7 loss from commissions yesterday. Actually, I think we've been profitable every day of the week except for like Tuesday. How actually do the stats come out today? This week?
Uzi Knesset says $7.
There's a lot of losses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my win rate has not been working very well. This one right here, though, should have been a winner. Then that would have made it equal. And this one... Oh, this one doesn't necessarily count because it's an E-mini trade. So if we count out that E-mini trade, then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we flip one over. So 5 and 5. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, then it's 50%. Okay. So that's good. So we are hitting 50%, which is what we want, and our winners are much larger than our losers. It's just that one trade right there that I don't like. That one trade. That and it's 10, so that's like $30. That's $30 lost in commissions. $7, says Uzi, right? Oh, I forgot that the robot dies. The robot dies. Oh, did it die? It didn't actually die. You guys just aren't saying anything. I was wrong. Still. Hey, what happened to... Oh, here it is. I've been thinking, I remember earlier on when the YouTube comments first started picking up. And I was like, well, we kind of want people to talk in Discord, though. And it would be a lot easier with the robot with the if it was in Discord. But I saw my Cornishes went up a wee bit. I was at 244 round turn and now at 288 per contract. That is. Oh, commissions. Did it really? Well, you should go talk to them about that, Uzi. You're trading a multiple lot, right? Or are you just trading a one lot? Because I was talking to Matt the other day, because we did mention him in the video, and I mentioned him in the video even though he didn't pay me, because he just as a broker he fit really well for the audience that we were talking about. Usually, last few days only one lot. I gotcha. I'm looking at the whole broker field, and it's like, well, okay, so if I was going to pick a broker that was like, that's who I want to recommend, and that's just it, then who should it be? But I'm starting, the more I look into it, the more I'm starting to realize that they each kind of have a thing that they do well, right? Stage 5 trading is really good if you have trouble managing your risk, because they will cut you off if you're tilting, right? That's the advantage to stage 5 trading. AMP futures, their advantage is that they give you the best commissions for beginning traders, okay? Optimus futures, their advantage is that they have the best customer service, and they really help and try and work to make their traders profitable. trading technologies, they have the best platform. They have the best platform. And then there's the Ninja Trader brokerage, which I guess the advantage is you get NinjaTrader because NinjaTrader is a pretty good platform, but still, So there's advantages to all of them. But that video was targeted at like they're not trading futures, and we think that they should trade futures, and so for them, I felt like Optimus Futures was probably the best place for them to go, and so that's why I recommended it. And but he was talking to me because I was said, it's like you do pay a little bit more on the commissions, but you get better customer service. But he was saying, look, if you're pushing volume, we will absolutely negotiate with you. So I don't know if one lot is enough, but if you guys are trading, a couple of round turns a day and you're trading 2 lots, you probably could talk him down. I bet you that, I don't know if he's here anymore, but I bet you that Ace could probably talk him down. Have you gone live talk on Discord? There's been a couple of times where we have actually, Gary. Maybe we could do that again. I'll tell you what, when we get into the holidays, here in the next couple of months, we could work some stuff out. We could pick a couple of days that we don't feel like are very good opportunities for everybody, and we could try doing like a few guests, and we could do a day where we just chat. I'm a little weary about getting back into the voice chat every day thing because it's really distracting. And it was really distracting for a lot of people. And so that's usually why it doesn't last for very long. But it is fun, and I would really like to get some of you guys the opportunity to come on and speak live to kind of show the way that you guys view it. Because from my perspective, I'm not the star of the show. From my perspective, you guys are the ones that really make this stream worth watching. So we really appreciate it. Okay, so what was he saying about the life? I got the NT lifetime commission rates, and I figured that since you get all updates for free, that they'd nickel and dime me in the commissions on a long enough timeline to make up for you only paying that license fee once. Yeah, I paid for the same license. Have you looked at RJO futures try 10 to 30 lots? Well, if you're trading a 10 lot, then they're definitely going to want to work with you. But I'm just, the reason why I say maybe even if you're doing 2 is because if you're even doing 2, you'll get into where with AMP you could do the pay up front $1,000 at the beginning of the year. I was looking at it. Oh my gosh, guys. So obviously through most of the year I traded, through that whole summer period I traded Sims. So this isn't exactly completely accurate. And there was definitely some time periods where I was experimenting and I take a lot less trades nowadays and this sort of a thing. But when I looked at like over everything, the commissions was ridiculous. The broker made a lot more money on my trading than I did, even though it was up. So yeah. If I could bring down that commission, I think it would benefit me too. Maybe you can disable the chat still. You get what you want, and after that, we can chat some minutes. Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing, Claudio, is like, for me, I like to talk. And we always have the chat in here, and I respond to that. So I'm used to distraction. But it was the rest of you guys that it was a concern for. It was just it was funny because even with just 3 or 4 people in there, the chat could get really active. But I'll tell you, the channel is there in Discord, and you can pop in anytime you want. And there's been times where people will just sit in there for long periods of time. And especially if I'm not live and trading, then it would be a good idea to get in there and talk with people. If you haven't been checking out the Discord, I would highly recommend it because you can post pictures in there, and there's people in there 24/7, and sometimes we can have fun discussions. And not only that, but like the education channel and some of the resources, especially Alligator. I have to give a hand to Alligator. I don't think that he watches every day because it is a bit of a distraction for him. But he's been with us before the beginning. What? Because the Discord happened before the channel. And man, I tell you what, he is a really good trader, and he has provided such amazing information in the Discord. It's totally worth looking at if you haven't done. Yeah. Most firms will negotiate with you. Just ask the terms. Worst they say is no. Yeah, it's a good point, Gary. I mean, even if you're doing a one lot, it seems to me like that there could be a good reason for them. Because I mean, listen, if they're making $3,000 off, it was like $3,000. I'm not even kidding. Hey, 1,000 trades in a year makes sense. That's money for them. That's the thing that I'm realizing with this whole thing is like, man, guys, don't sell yourselves short. Even if you're not an amazing trader. I don't think I'm an amazing trader, but even if you're not an amazing trader, you are valuable. Every single one of you, all 22. Well, we had 33 at one point. You guys are you have a valuable skill that is not very common anymore. And even if you're not amazing at it, it's still valuable. And you know, any one of you could be worth thousands of dollars to these brokers. And really to other people in the industry, and you should realize that and use that to your advantage. And so that's certainly with trading one lot, it's kind of like you would have to prove to them that you're going to be trading for a long time. But if you're trading multiple lots, then for sure you should talk to them, I think. Trading molds a quality mindset. I agree. And I was thinking about this the other day. I'm making a video. Why do day traders fail? You know, and the conclusion that I've come to, even though there are a lot of things that are working against traders, in the end, it all comes back to that we're just not very good at trading. Like trading is very hard, and humans are very bad at doing it. And I think that we come in with this expectation that we're going to start trading for a few months, and then we'll get good at it, and we'll just be amazing at it. And that is simply not the way that it works. I think of it like weightlifting, okay? So I do Olympic weightlifting, and Olympic weightlifting is such a technical sport. You would not believe, like, it's only like a few seconds that you're doing there, but like the position of every teeny tiny little thing matters in Olympic weightlifting. And the way that you train matters, because you need to like strengthen the right muscles, and you've got to get yourself to have the power and the explosiveness. We train in a certain way so that our nervous system is primed to be able to make all of those muscles contract at once. And it takes years. It's going to be like you're going to go through a cycle, and your body is going to change through that cycle. A whole 6-week cycle or whatever it is, your body changes. Like the muscles balance out. It changes you. I've seen so many lifters, they come in and they're okay at, like they were already new lifting and they're okay at one cycle. And then once they've been through that one cycle and they're like, their body is balanced out, and that second cycle, they're always amazing. Well, not always, but they're always a lot better, And I know lifters that have been lifting for like 5 years. And it's not until it's been 5 years that they really start to get it and start to do well, And I think that trading is the same way. We have this expectation that we can just kind of learn it and then you're going to be good. But it really doesn't work like that. Humans are just not well suited to trading, period. And they never were. It's not just that the robots are really good. We were never built for trading. Trading has always been about taking advantage of our natural inclinations. And I've decided that there is not a single person on this planet that is naturally good at it. I don't think there's a single person on this planet that is naturally good at trading. I think that you only get that way through practice. You can become that way, but nobody is that way naturally, because the whole thing is you have to start to adopt a mindset and an emotional reaction to things that is not normal, you know? Take more than, oh, I'm reading the wrong thing here. I have multiple personalities in here, says Gary. Trading molds a quality mindset. I think a major problem is a lack of understanding risks as live action. Well, that's definitely a thing. Like, our brains aren't really good at seeing that, yeah, this thing happens like 70% of the time, but when it doesn't, it really screws up. And your brain can't see that it's worth more when it fails than it is when it happens. And over time, you can actually make more money from going against it. It's not so much that we're not suited for trading, it's more that we're not suited for being uncomfortable, in my opinion. Yeah, that might be true. The trading itself is certainly not like the fundamental thing. Oh, did the 5-year actually went up and made a new high? Is the 10-year going to trade 08? That's a little sketchy. That move down and then back up, though, sure is a sketch, isn't it? I had a friend who would train with 800-pound deadlifts, came in second to John KUC Nationals. He trained each muscle once a week and like a Cobb Energy Room Bear. Wow. When you hit 15 years, you have many instincts. Well, I'm wondering, if I take my boy, my unborn child, and from a very early age, I'm sure we'll bring him in on stream. Although I don't want to have a crying child, because I don't think that a crying child in your ear would help you trade well. You know what I mean? But I think I want to come in and show the kid order flow. Although I'm told that their vision is blurry for the first few months. So maybe when they're 6 months old, can come in and have the child watch a day of order flow. Maybe condition them from the earliest of ages and see if that makes him an amazing trader or not. Maybe, maybe not. We don't want to put too many expectations on the child, though, do we? I mean, it's going to be weird. You know how, like, you guys have kids. I know a couple of you guys have kids. I'm told that it's like when you're with your first child, you put all of your hopes and aspirations onto that one child, and you're really strict. But then as you get older, you realize that most of those things didn't matter. And so you're more lenient on the kids. Well, I think that we're going to have a weird dynamic going on where I'm going to be that one that it's like my first kid and all of the hopes and desires are being projected onto the child. And my wife is going to be like, well, this is like the fourth one. It's no big deal. You know what I mean? So it should be fun. That's still a couple months away, though. 4 months away. I'm looking at it. I had a couple of things on check here. We are getting about the time when we can get going, but I think there was some other things that we wanted to talk about. You know what? These are some subjects we can talk about any day. So we can do that on Monday. Oh, one thing I did want to mention, we were talking, I don't know, did you guys have any trouble with the stream, like starting and restopping or having to refresh the page again today? Because I'm still wondering if we're just losing too many frames. I'm wondering if the video, because today it was, due to rendering lag, 0.2%. So it used to only be 0.1. 500 frames for the day. Uzi says no. Okay, well, that's encouraging. I'm just wondering, I don't know if it's just because it's the older video card or what. I mean, the video card works great. I was looking at them the other day. I could actually sell this video card if I got lucky for almost what I bought it for, $200. But I could probably, because it's old, I think that it would be more reasonable and fair to put it at more like 100, 150. And then we could get a 1660. A 1660 Ti is probably what we'd want, which is like $250. But we're gonna have, thanks to Gary here, he gave us the $50. That means that we'll get a paycheck from Google at the end of the month, and then I already had a little bit saved up from some other things anyway. So we could buy a 1660. I'm still blown away by the fact that my discount video cards I bought like 6 years ago still run 4 monitors and a TV. The more noise while trading improves your focus. Not wreck initially live, but drill with lots of noise, you will see more focus. That's an interesting thought, Gary. Well, I certainly have those birds screaming in my ears all the time, and I pretty much just completely filter them out. Like yesterday, I got out and I was like, they already took them to school? It was like, I didn't even hear them get ready. Anyways, I could do a 1660. I would like to get a 2070, but man, those are like $500. So unless everybody wants to donate like $300, I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Don't do that. We don't need it. So I think that we might, but we'll see on the Black Friday deals, right? So keep an eye out for me. If you see a 1660 Ti, a NVIDIA GeForce 1660 Ti, we want the Ti one. Otherwise, it's not more powerful than my card. But if we get a Ti, send me the link on Discord on the holiday shopping. Yeah, see if we can find a good deal, or maybe if there's something on eBay. I've been watching eBay pretty closely, though. There's not a ton of them out on eBay, unfortunately. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like over the past 4 years, video cards haven't actually gotten that much more powerful. Nvidia got such a big lead on there that they're not really pushing them. But maybe in the next generation of video cards that get bigger. That's why probably it's not the best idea to spend a ton on a card right now, especially since I don't have a game to play. So we wouldn't even be using it. Well, yeah. So I think that's about it. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. We had a good day. I will see you guys. Have a good weekend. I will see you on Monday. Before we go, let's just check up on what is the news next week. Building permits, FOMC meeting minutes on the Wednesday, existing home sales. Well, I don't see a ton of good news opportunity next week, but maybe some of this trade war stuff will heat up again. So we'll see then. All right. So I'll see you guys then Monday. And in the meantime, stay profitable.